in this specific journal that he was writing in, they were having, the porn addict add up how many hours a week, how many hours have you been doing this a week, total it up. And then it would detail what kind of porn was being watched. And, it was like 0 for never, 1 for some time. And then the number 3 was like daily or frequently, something like that. So he put a number 3 on frequently to this sentence that said he couldn't stop watching porn with girls in it made to look like children.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
And that was dismissed as irrelevant to the case.
Irrelevant to a custody case with a female daughter that's
correct.
It's preteen.
That's correct.
Crystal, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty darn well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. You drove a long way. Well, longer than I would have driven. How far is it from here?
4 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah.
I feel special because there's really not a lot to do in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, it was a nice drive, and I'm thankful that you offered, to have time to share my story. So,
well, I heard part of it, and it was very interesting and complicated.
Right.
Yeah. So hearing it in a text message didn't do justice, and it sounded like something that a lot of people needed to hear.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you do most of the talking.
Okay.
And just, start from you. Tell me what's going on.
Well, timeline wise, starting from the beginning, I have one daughter. She's amazing. She was taken, I lost 100% custody of her a little over 2 years ago. And that was going from having 90%, and then I had 60, and then it was 0. So.
Wow. Do you mind, was it your ex-husband that took custody of her, or was it the state?
Correct. Yeah. She's with her father. And so that court case, that court proceeding, lasted, I want to say, don't quote me on this, but 2 years-ish. And, I ended up, right after losing custody, they told me oh, you need to get a new counselor. So I went and got a new counselor.
Like an attorney counselor?
No, like an actual therapist.
Okay,
so the way that basically what they put their reasoning for revoking my custody was I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So mind you, mental health is my hat. I'm in school to be a therapist. I'm getting my hours. And so I was diagnosed with that, and they took custody, and they said, well, you need to get a new therapist because my current therapist says I don't have borderline. So I went and got a new therapist, and he doesn't know me from Adam, just met him, just a, cold call referral. And so as I was sitting there telling him, this is what's happened, and he started asking me questions like, well, who's the guardian ad litem, and who's this and who's that? And he just leaned forward and he was like, these are all names that I've heard before. He said, I'm helping several other clients who've had their kids taken from me. And he said, it's a completely corrupt system. It's a money trap. And at that time, I had spent probably $200,000 trying to keep custody of her. And so, I was just taken aback, shocked. Everyone was shocked when, I lost custody because, I don't do drugs. I don't even yell at my kid. I don't spank. There's no allegations against me really as a parent. And so it was shocking. But when this therapist was like, I'm going to call my other client. I want you to talk to some of these other women. So they have Zoom calls, senators, just people from like governmental positions are well aware of the corruption and the racket, basically, that is set up to rake money in by taking custody from parents.
This is like a DHS, like Department of Health, Department of Human Services. That's what in Oklahoma it's called, or Child Protective Services.
Well, Child Protective Services had visited my house. That there was no substantiated anything. There was nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But the judge in the end just ordered that I have zero custody.
Wow. And their reasoning was because you have borderline personality disorder.
Correct.
Who said that you had that?
So this was done as a professional psychological evaluation, and the person that diagnosed me with that has since dropped all of his Missouri business, which is where their racket is flourishing, for lack of better words. So he's dropped his Missouri clients, but I obviously went and I paid for another psychological evaluation. And the shocking part about that was he combed through the evaluation that was done the first time. And he said, not only is there zero implications in any of the paperwork, questionnaires, anything like that, that I have any disorder. He said that the whole evaluation was at best wrong, but he said it's fraudulent.
Wow. So they hired the state hired their own therapist to diagnose
you. So I didn't know, obviously, about the corruption. I trusted my lawyer. And when the other side, my ex and his lawyer, picked out someone to do the psych evaluation, I was fine with that because I was sure personally that it was going to come back that he had narcissistic personality disorder. And so my lawyer said, go ahead and, go with the guy they're picking. I've heard good things about him. And I've later learned in the racket that the lawyers actually get together and decide like how they're going to make the most money. So the thing's decided from the beginning.
Wow. I'm trying to rack my brain around this.
Yeah.
So, and I've heard instances like this in a different concept or different scenario. And being in law enforcement, I knew that there were issues with child trafficking and stuff like that.
Right.
But it never even occurred to me in that racket. Now I do know that things are set up to, like, if you're the father in a lot of states like Oklahoma, Arkansas, I mean, there's a lot of money to be made off of child support.
Yeah.
The state makes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that it's just, and this has been going on for 2 years.
Since she's taken from me 2 years ago. And just to add like some clarity, there's a movie called I Care a Lot. And those are based off of true events on how they take advantage of old people, elderly, and take their things and place them in homes. So it shows the business model of how that corruption is. And it's the same business model that's going on with elderly right now. It's the same business model as the taking of kids. Yeah. So if anyone wants to like really kind of wrap their mind around what the heck am I even saying, watch the movie I Care a Lot. There was a judge who got caught, and I think it's a documentary, but it's been dubbed now Kids for Cash.
Yeah.
And there's a website, kidsforcash.org. I think it might be .com. But that also details a little bit on kind of how they're making a lot of money.
Oh, wow. And you said there are other victims that are they willing to come forward? Have you spoke with any of them? Or?
Yeah, so we have Zoom calls where there's up to 50 other, mostly women. Some of them are dads. So with the racket, they try to figure out, which parent do we give the child to, which typically is the most unhealthy parent, because the healthy parent is going to become very resourceful and not give up and start dumping money into the system.
Yeah.
So that's typically what's this. But the online, Zoom calls that we have, senators are, like I said, are joining. They know full well what's going on. There's lobbyists trying to change laws that have made it possible for this corruption to exist. And I wanted to say, part of like the circumstance that I'm in was while I was married, my mother-in-law was the Secretary of Homeland Security for President Trump. And I was promised and a threat by my husband at the time that he would use her position to take my kid. So I'm not saying that there's any evidence, that she used her position whatsoever to take my kid. So, that's unknown. Of course, having a mother-in-law that's that high up in the government might make you think twice.
Yeah.
But it's happening to a lot of people. I mean, it's just nationwide. So.
Wow. And this started 2 years ago.
I lost her 2 years ago. So the court case where they were asking for full custody started in 2018.
Okay. So have you and the other victims, have y'all started a joint lawsuit together?
No, there's no class action lawsuit. I will say kind of discreetly that we know things, and the people that are involved are backpedaling.
Yeah.
So the place that does this, I can see my daughter in supervised visitation. They went out of business. My ex-husband's lawyer has now withdrawn from the case. And like I said earlier, that the psych evaluation person has dropped his Missouri clients, which is where the corruption is. So that there's key players that seem to be backing out of it pretty quickly because we have evidence and we're catching on to what they're doing.
Yeah. Most people, well, a few years ago, especially now it's changing, but most people put a lot of faith in the government, and that's just the way it is. And you honestly, if you're just a regular Joe Blow, you don't usually have the ability to fight. I mean, just get a speeding ticket. I'll tell you, you're probably going to pay court costs, even if you're innocent.
Right.
Because they'll say, oh, yeah, we'll dismiss it with court costs.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it costs, $150 just to do that.
Right.
But, that's the way the court system is set up. Thinking. Having brain farts.
That's okay.
It's not a subject I'm really aware of, and I usually have lots of questions, but I'm like,
it's definitely overwhelming. It's overwhelming and just hard to imagine. But the thing is when you take someone's kid, what better way to make money? I mean, people aren't going to stop spending money to get their kid. It's a great money making business model.
It's making money off of emotions, which happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, just turn on the news.
Yeah.
How many people sent money to Ukraine? Emotions.
Right. Yeah.
How's now, do you get to visit your daughter?
So yeah, I see her in supervised visitations. I see her 4 hours 1 week and then 8 hours. So it goes 4, 8, alternating every other week.
And it's supervised?
Supervised, yeah.
Wow. Do you know the person that's supervising, or do they have a mediator?
She, again, was picked by the other side. My mother-in-law or ex-mother-in-law picked her. And again, I was none the wiser. that,
Yeah.
they were picking somebody, that was potentially corrupt. And so the case was going on during like COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
And so my daughter was unable to see this person as a therapist. She was seeing her as a therapist at the time. So COVID, shut down. So this particular person hadn't laid eyes on my daughter. I want to say it was about 10 months, almost a year, and then testified in court that she recommended supervised visitations without even seeing my daughter within almost a year.
Wow. And they didn't have to provide any kind of documentation or
just her opinion based off of, well, I would say false allegations. One of the things I said was I touch my daughter too much, and that's enmeshment, and just things like that are so vague you can't really prove damage to, or even I call them benchmarks, right? So if you're a meth addict and I say, okay, you can't have your kid anymore, you can prove that you're no longer a meth addict and get your kid back.
Yeah.
So the things that I was accused of are things that can't be proven. There's no benchmark. There's no end date. I can't say, oh, we're no longer enmeshed. I don't hug her as much anymore. It's not something that's provable. So there's no benchmarks I was even left with to even get her back.
What exactly is touching your child too much?
They said, because my daughter had told the guardian that she did not want to live with her father. She's told another counselor that, which now, lo and behold, she's not allowed to see this counselor anymore. But my daughter's remained the same throughout the whole court case, saying, I want to live with mom. And they said one of the reasons that she wants to live with me is because I'm physically affectionate way too much, and her father isn't like that. So likely she took that as he didn't love her as much because he's not as physically affectionate as I am.
Wow. Wow. And so there's no way to prove any of that. I mean, it's just, I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. And I'm usually, like you said, I'm usually better with questions, but I'm sitting there, I'm envisioning all this. Have y'all filed any paperwork or any lawsuits against them?
Yeah, it's contested. And a lot of parents that I've talked to are in the position now to start suing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll be a class action lawsuit. I don't know how exactly that's going to go down. But like I said, we have evidence, which I won't say on the internet.
Yeah.
But so we're a lot of moms, including myself, are going to go after these people. So one of the stories that happened in St. Louis was two daughters were taken from their mother because the mom was homeschooling the daughters. And the claim is that they were behind in their schooling. She was being a negligent mother by homeschooling them, right? So the guardian took the daughters and gave custody to their father, who just got out of prison. And the 15-year-old daughter was sodomized by her father.
Wow.
And the 15-year-old said to the guardian, if you put me in foster care instead of giving me back to my mom, I will kill myself. And the guardian put both of the sisters in foster care. And the next day, the little girl hung herself. She's dead.
Wow. Wow. And I'm not understanding why people don't understand the power of money. Money, now don't get me wrong, money in itself is not evil. I'm all about it. I mean, I know a lot of people with a lot of money
Sure.
that do a lot of good things.
Yeah.
But people are not understanding exactly how corrupt our government is. And the judicial system is part of our government. They're government employees. They and a lot of people like to blame cops and stuff, but the people who could do more power, more damage to families are people like social workers, caseworkers. I've seen them say things and do things. I worked a case once. It was a child abuse case on a child protective service agent whose job was to work child abuse cases.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happened to her.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't, and we just don't have people speaking up.
Mhm.
Most of them, one, they spent all their money on the case,
Yeah.
and they can't afford an attorney, and attorneys typically don't work pro bono.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame them, but and if you want to get a for free attorney, you'll have to go through a government or something.
Right.
And that's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, and so they have like their bread and butter clients, basically. I mean, this doesn't happen to all families, but it happens to families who have money. So you're looking at middle to upper class. This is happening too. So I'm a business owner. And I told my lawyer in the very beginning, I said, I don't care how much this costs. I need to keep custody of my kid. And I think, that was probably the point in which I was plopped into, that kind of a business model. And so at this point, I haven't totaled everything up, but I'm sure I'm encroaching on probably $500,000.
Wow.
On this case. But for me, so some of the other moms, they have kids with a different husband, or kids that are old enough to say, fuck this, I'm staying with whoever. So a lot of the moms are afraid to speak out because they don't want another kid to get taken from them.
Yeah.
And so as I'm learning all this, I said, they fucked with the wrong person.
Yeah.
I have one kid, and every time I've been afraid to learn more or speak out or whatever, I think, oh, what are they going to do? Take oh, wait, they already did that. Yeah. My worst fear has already happened, and I survived through it. And so these people will pay a price. I will not stop until this is exposed, and the people that are doing this are put behind bars, and the kids get to come forward and tell their truth.
Yeah, because it's gonna you're an adult, and I mean, it sounds harshly saying you will get over it easier than they will. I mean, them 2 years she's been gone. I mean, who knows what's been said?
Sure.
I mean, I grew up around that. You get told stories and lies, and you might believe them. You might start believing them. It's hard not to. I mean, it's been said, you tell a lie over and over again enough times, people will start believing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can ruin your life, but it can definitely ruin her life.
Mm-hmm. Well, so again, I'm one of the luckier parents because my daughter is almost 14. She's old enough to know, she's old enough to observe and understand.
Yeah.
And I had a teacher from her school call me, and she said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, I was talking to Joy. I asked her how things were going. She said, I heard, you can't see your mom anymore because of her mental health." And she said, "Crystal, I just wanted you to know." Joy immediately said, "It's lies. Oh, they're lying. There's nothing wrong with my mom."
Yeah.
And that filled my heart because, of course, we're not allowed to talk about anything of substance during supervised visitations. Yeah. But she knows me, and that can't be undone.
Yeah, that's good, because I mean, not everybody gets in this situation. There's a lot of parents out there that they love their children, but they work too much. They don't talk to them as much as they could. They don't love on them as much as they could. If one of them parents ends up in a situation like that, it can be disastrous because they didn't prepare that child enough
Right.
to handle outside
Yeah.
scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody telling
Right.
them, oh, that's not really the way it is.
Right. Yeah.
You
And
know?
a lot of the kids they're taking are a lot younger than my daughter. And so they believe horrible things about their parent that aren't true. And so I do consider myself one of the luckier parents. She's thriving in school. She's got all A's, maybe a B or two. She's got great friends. You know, she's doing okay. But this, like I said, this will be a story that will be told. The truth will shine forth.
Yeah, and it's a story that needs to get out there because a lot of people have no idea. They think it's just a conspiracy theory that things happen to people's children and it's the government's fault.
Yeah.
They think it's the parents. It's oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. It's
It's not. Yeah.
it's not there. The judge can put on some stipulations that really make it difficult to do anything.
Yeah. Well, and I've been through that certainly a lot. And I think that, you know, veering to asking viewers something, you know, my request is that if you hear of a parent that's had rights revoked, to not be judgmental, because this is endemic. And I didn't realize how bad of a problem it was until I ran for school board. And the Shawnee Post wrote a piece on me. And basically, the gist is why would we have somebody that can't even have their own kid be on a school board, right?
Yeah.
So I get that. That makes sense, right? But so as I was running, we went to conventions and I had the microphone at one point and I was like, I just want to address the elephant in the room. I know a lot of you have read this article. I know a lot of you know I don't have my kid. And I'm just asking you, I know you don't know me from Adam, to know that this is corrupt, it's contested, and I will do well on the school board. So after I said that, I had dozens of people coming up to me. My son lost his kid. This happened to me. My friend lost their kid. I had the whole support of pretty much everyone that was there. Had only not just good things to say about me and encouragement, but all of them, like not all of them, but many of them came forward with their own stories about how their grandkid was taken or whatever. It's happening to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's really to go with what you're saying. It's not that uncommon. I actually have a friend in a different state. We met through the conferences that we go on. Wonderful woman. Her daughter was speaking with a friend that was also her parent. Her mom was mutual friends with her mom, and found out that she was being molested.
Mm.
And the state filed a charge on the mother, like my friend, for lying in court and saying that she's saying that didn't really actually happen. And it's like all in and it was because she was making a fuss about things that are going on now, such as drag shows in school, stuff like that. In that area, she was there doing that.
Yeah.
And the prosecuting attorney, or was it somebody, social worker? I can't remember. Somebody working for the government said this could all go away if you just shut up.
Shut up. Yeah.
You know, and she ended up. I mean, she's now she's got a record.
Yeah.
Simply, and it's not. I was like, really, for lying in court? I was like, people do that all the time. Nobody ever gets anything.
Right.
It's like, and it's not something proof. But when the judge and everybody else is working, who's going to say anything?
Yeah.
I when I was working in Southeast Oklahoma, I saw a guy that he he was tied to one of the chairs for whenever somebody's being violent. Sometimes you have to strap them to a chair so they don't hurt themselves or others. Well, the detention officer that was a supervisor, who also happened to be a part-time police officer, was yelling at him and then just struck him on camera. When I went to the assistant chief, he said, okay, we'll take care of it. He just put that guy on a different shift. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was like, that was literally a violation. I've seen over and over again, but people think of law enforcement when they hear corruption. They think of people getting away with all that stuff. They don't think of money as in, people, the court taking your money for this or that, unless it's traffic tickets. And I keep telling people, cops have nothing to do with money. They don't make money on traffic tickets.
Yeah.
But it's cases like you, because you get emotionally involved in it, and I've told people, I'm like, you want to know what's wrong with the court justice system? He who has the most money typically wins, except in your case. That's not the way it's built. It's built where they keep on milking you.
Yeah.
And the person who can't afford it, they give them the child and make the other person fight for it.
Yeah.
And that's been my observation. I mean, is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few details in like the business model that I'm talking about where they make sure that they give the child to typically the most unhealthy parent, because the healthy parents can dump money and find and beg and raise money or whatever. But is I'm sure there's more intricacies to it, because I'm not part of the business model on how they choose which parent to alienate from the kid. But and it's easy to believe that, it's not the judge's fault, because that there's a false psych eval or whatever, right? So, like, a couple of details to add to that. I had my ex-husband's, like, a letter that he wrote to our daughter when he went to drug rehab. So he had just gotten out of drug rehab when he filed for full custody.
Oh, wow.
And mind you, I'm a business owner. I'm stable. There's no allegations, in that department. So what I'm trying to say is, I have a letter that he wrote her while he was in drug rehab saying, and the sentence was, daddy's sorry, whatever. And the quote from the letter is, "It's like I can't control my own brain." And that letter was also in reference, my daughter doesn't know this, to his porn addictions. And I get, porn addiction, whatever. Yeah. People like it, some are addicted, some are, it's an opinion. But in this specific journal that he was writing in, they were having, the porn addict add up how many hours a week, how many hours have you been doing this a week, total it up. And then it would detail what kind of porn was being watched. And, it was like 0 for never, 1 for some time. And then the number 3 was like daily or frequently, something like that. So he put a number 3 on frequently to this sentence that said he couldn't stop watching porn with girls in it made to look like children.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
And that was dismissed as irrelevant to the case.
Irrelevant to a custody case with a female daughter that's
correct.
It's preteen.
That's correct. And even the letter where he said, "It's like I can't control my own brain," dismissed, irrelevant. So we're talking about someone that just got out of drug rehab, someone we have substantial evidence of severe case of porn addiction, watching them, either they were children or they were made to look like children. And my mom mind, I don't give a fuck if they were children or not. If you're watching porn and they look like kids, it's child porn.
You got an issue.
Right. So he had put in there, it was like 20 hours a week.
That's a lot.
20 hours a week. And he had put on there for, I think it was 10 years or 12 years, something like that he had been into this. And 20 hours a week. So that would be including like the ritual leading up to watching porn, the watching, like how many hours do you dedicate a week to keeping this addiction? It was 20 hours a week on child porn.
It's like almost a little over 1,000 hours a year times 20. That's over 20.
Yep.
2,000.
Yeah.
I don't even watch TV that much. I mean,
yeah.
And this was dismissed by the judge.
Correct. Yeah.
What'd your attorney say?
My attorney didn't say much about it. I tried to get a professional to go through it. The psych eval person that did mine, I gave him that book and I said, if you do anything, I'm asking you to look through this book. Okay? And he got up on stand. He was asked if he looked at it. He said no. He said, no, I didn't, because his reasoning was it was handwriting. It didn't give context because it was in handwriting. And then,
isn't that the best context? When it's in handwriting, it means it's more personal.
Right. And then he had play a phone call that I was being secretly recorded in the phone call by my ex-husband at the time. So the phone call was him saying, Crystal, I'm going to give you grace. And I flipped out and I was just like, fuck you. Like, you broke my arm. You fucking busted my lip open. You abused me. And I'm just yelling at him. So they stopped the recording and the psych eval guy goes, people, you can tell on the phone that this person, the guy, I won't say his name, was being so kind and gentle. And people with borderline are like that. They're like that. So if you're being kind and gentle, saying, I'll give you grace, and I just start yelling at you.
Grace is your daughter, right?
Joy is my daughter.
Joy. What's Grace? Just.
Well, he was saying, I'll give you, like, I'll be gracious.
Oh, okay. I get it now. Because I was like, I thought your name was, you said your daughter's name was something else. Okay.
No, yeah.
I get it now. I'm from Oklahoma. Don't judge me.
Yeah. So he was saying, I'll give you grace. And I was like, grace for what? I haven't fucking done anything. Yeah. Like, you abused me. So that phone call was used to say, oh, here's evidence of her having borderline. Now, mind you, in the handwritings that I gave the psych eval guy, one of the questions was, have you ever forced your wife against her will to have sex, to whatever? And he put yes. Yes.
That's rape, by the way. That's rape. I know I've convicted somebody of that before. That's
so
rape.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't convict them. I arrested them. But, my case.
Yeah. And so I was slow to call it rape because I'm like, do you have to fight someone off to call it rape? Do you have to say no, like then no, and then you consent because you just feel like you don't, like, my head is just swimming. But that was given to the psych eval guy who didn't open it or read it and then use this phone call to say, I have borderline. Now, someone who is flipping out and cussing someone out that's being kind to them, is that indicative of having borderline? Sure. But someone cussing someone out who's been abused by that person, is that indicative of being abused? Yes. You know what I mean?
It's like the therapist or whatever you want to call this person doesn't know what a narcissist or a sociopath is.
Yeah.
When they talk, they don't yell. They're very
very calculated.
I mean, come on. Have they seen any of the serial killers throughout history? I mean, they were some of the suavest people. They would just like, why are you yelling?
Yeah.
They're just all smiling and, why are you being that? And then gaslighting you as if you are. So you can't, and they do that. I mean, my first divorce, which was pretty heavy, for me. I just had major back surgery, had a divorce, and then end up getting out of law enforcement, living in my car. I see a shrink because my dumb ass thinks, well, the person with the biggest, highest degree is the best one to talk to. Right. 15 minutes. I met with this guy one time, said I was bipolar.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going through all this. It's not bipolar. I'm emotional.
That's not how that works.
And that's when I discovered that they don't all generally know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They can issue a few things, say, oh, this, but they don't ever talk. They don't find, they don't investigate.
Right.
It's like they all have an agenda.
Yeah.
I say all. I shouldn't say that.
If you're saying they as in sociopaths or I guess others have an agenda. Yeah, absolutely. So leading into that word sociopath, in the court case, so during the psych eval, they did a very extensive IQ test. Yeah. And so my ex's IQ came back as, I think it was 145, 146. Very, very high. And so I had the guardian ad litem, I said, ask him, the psych eval guy, I said, ask him what it would be like to be married to someone with a 145 IQ who is a sociopath. So that question was asked to him, and he was like, oh, and he started going into detail on what it would be like to marry a sociopath who had a high IQ. And I lost it. I just bawled because I'm like, this guy is literally detailing my life. Yeah. And nobody got it. Nobody saw it.
And to kind of fill people in, describing, the manipulation, because it is, they're smart enough to think through something instead of just saying, oh, you're wrong and I'm right.
Right.
That's low IQ does that.
Everything's high calculated.
IQ, yes, it's very manipulative. There's a method to everything they say.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There's a reason they said it in this exact way. It's the same person that knocks the shit out of you and then comes back to you and starts loving on you and say, oh, I really hate doing that.
Yeah.
They'll either make it where it's like your fault, well, if you wouldn't, you can't blame a person for losing their temper when you're like this, mm-hmm. But if I'd rather have an idiot sociopath. They're easy.
Right.
But the intelligent ones, they're the ones that don't generally go to prison.
With it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I guess at this point, like, obviously I'm not claiming he is a sociopath. I want to make that clear because I'm not a psychologist that's able to diagnose.
Yeah.
I'm just saying comparatively that felt like it fit that explanation. So at this point, here's my focus. My focus is I want my daughter to like her father. I've asked her to forgive him, and she's mad at me. But that's my heart. I want her to have a relationship with him. But in that, my goals moving forward are that the people that are doing the corruption be caught, be put away for it, that kids can come forward and speak their truth, that this won't be happening to families. If I can save one mom or dad from having to go through this, I would say my life here on earth was worth it. This is now my mission. Yeah. And so right now I'm getting my hours in as a therapist, and I'm going to keep going. I don't know if I will get a law degree, but I would love at some point to have the capacity to have the law plus the therapy and be able to go in and speak for these families. Because here's the thing. If you have borderline personality disorder or another disorder, that doesn't even mean you're not a good parent.
No.
A good parent might have borderline personality disorder, and the bad parent may have no disorders, right? So they're wrongfully using psychology to do things that are awful, unspeakable.
And to clarify, borderline personality disorder, if you just listen to the title, it's borderline. It doesn't mean you have a personality disorder. It's like you could have a personality disorder.
So it's on this spectrum. If you were to put it on a spectrum, it's called cluster B.
Yeah.
And so borderline's like over here, like psychopath would be over here, right? So borderline is marked by an inability to feel empathy. And I would say that probably my biggest weakness is that I'm very empathetic.
Yeah, I've only known you for a few months, maybe, and I could have picked that out pretty quickly. You can tell when people aren't empathetic, pretty easily. But it's how do you prove it?
Right.
It's not provable. I mean, what is empathetic?
Right.
I mean, of course the person says, I love you and stuff like that because that's what you're supposed to say, but they don't actually mean it.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. So empathy, for the profession that I'm going into, empathy is the vehicle in which people are motivated to change.
Yeah.
So the psych evals don't really extensively measure empathy. And that's really what should be measured the most because, if you have PTSD and borderline personality disorder, sometimes it can look the same.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to measure if someone has empathy, then they're able to change. It's not a disorder, right? Yeah. So there's just a lot of things that I want to go into and highlight in my career, that this is wrong, and I want to make right what's wrong.
Yeah. What, for other parents that are going through this, what advice would you give them? That's a heavy question.
It is a heavy, that makes me want to cry because, the first year that she was gone, I just wanted to die. I felt so empty. And I would just give them hope that framing is so important. So rather than saying my daughter was taken from me, I say in my head, she's temporarily away. She wasn't taken. I would give them advice to never quit, never give up, fight for their own mental health and happiness while they're going through it, because kids need to see their parent healthy. And the bigger part is we have our whole lives in front of us. I have decades and decades of memories yet to be built with my kid who isn't going to live there forever. So keeping that perspective in mind that this is not forever, and though it may hurt and feel like literally the worst thing in the world, and it may be so painful that you don't even want to get out of bed and brush your teeth, you still have your whole life in front of you. Hope is not lost. Even if that child was brainwashed against you, there's still hope, because every kid intrinsically needs their biological parents. And at some point, they're going to reach out and see what's mom actually like. And they're going to learn and see, wow, she's healthy. She's happy. She loves me. And boom, a relationship is kindled. So none of this is forever. None of it.
Yeah. That's good. It's hard to hold on to that. I mean, when you're in the middle of it, you're fighting, you're actually fighting yourself because you're upset and you're afraid not to look upset because you're afraid they're going to think that you're not upset. And so you look upset. So you're afraid to help yourself because you don't want them to think that you don't really care.
Right.
But when actually you should be taking care of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
It's really a hard road to hoe. Yeah. I think I said that right. I don't know. I heard a friend say that, so I decided to use that word.
Yeah.
Down here, you say hoe, it means something totally different. But there's nothing that I can say that because I hate it when people say, well, I'm sorry.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, but I am. But I truly believe nothing happens to you, everything happens for you. And it's hard to see that at this time.
Yeah.
I could go in different scenarios of why. There's a lot of whys. It could be simply because it had to happen to you because you are willing to speak up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. Most people will not speak up. Most people are trained to be victims anyway.
Right.
You know, they're just like, oh, there's nothing I can do. The government's so big.
Right.
So?
Yeah. I'm just a small person.
Yeah.
So, but watching the people backpedal, I realize I'm not a small person.
Yeah. Remember, Edison didn't have a high school education.
That's a great point. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the biggest people in the world were never trained.
Came from nothing.
Nothing. They, you know, they're self-taught everything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at a person I have huge respect for now that I can't remember his name. He was a slave, Lincoln's partner.
I know who you're talking about.
Oh my God. Would you mind turning my camera on and off? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I hate when it does that. I can edit it out.
Okay.
At least I looked at the time this time. I used to be scared to edit. I had to do everything right the first time. Then I was like, I can edit it. But I didn't know how to edit. I taught myself how to do this. I taught myself how to do this because somebody that was supposed to do it all, a couple of people, they backtracked on me. So it forced me to learn how to edit. So nothing happens to you. Everything happens for you.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, getting back. Sorry, I had to pause.
Yeah. On that note, on things happening for you, I'm an empath, yes, but I'm a strong empath. And I think that, and so is my daughter. She's very strong. And so I really do see a bright future with her.
Yeah.
I asked her the other day during a visitation, I said, you know, what do you want to do when you grow up? You know, and she said, Mom, I want to help families that are going through what we're going through. And I was like, Bud, I would love that. Like, that would be amazing. And so, yeah, my mind is very future oriented. And to the point where you were saying, you know, maybe a parent maybe isn't checked in with their kid or, you know, whatever, distracted with work. This has made me very cognizant of children's needs.
Yeah.
And an ability to really reach their heart. I've been, you know, like I said, that court case lasted 2 years. So I had 2 years to be like, shit, like, am I going to lose custody?
Yeah.
And I checked in with her. And there's a whole world inside of every kid, doesn't matter which kid it is, there's a whole world in there waiting to be met and learned and delighted in. Yeah. And I don't think I would have really caught that as deeply as I have had I not had that 2-year long case. Yeah. It made our relationship very sweet, indestructible, and worth every moment of life.
Yeah. I mean, that's an important takeaway is that just ask any war-torn soldier. They will tell you times of battle that were some of the best times of their life in the middle of war. You know, it's which is a lesson. It's a God-given lesson.
Yeah.
That it's not about what's going on around you. It's about how you're handling everything.
Yeah.
What are you taking away from it?
Yeah.
How are you learning from it?
Yeah.
Because that's what our purpose on earth is to do, is learn and love. Mm-hmm. Everything is about learning and loving.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And if you're not doing that, you're screwing up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you're still doing that, you're not a screw up.
Right.
I mean, no matter what situation you're in. I mean, I've been homeless 3 times.
Yeah.
As an adult, not counting my childhood.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just things happen.
Yeah, life happens. You can use pain redemptively.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was about to say it without actually disclaiming it first because it sounds really horrible. I was like, my initial thought was, what's a blessing that you're able to go through this. But that sounds real shitty. But what I'm saying is that you, as in who you are going through this because you can handle it.
Right. Well, I'm using it as a blessing, and I don't think it's either or. It's not like you're a victim or you're like, it's both. I was victimized. I am a warrior. It is shitty. I'm making it beautiful. Yeah. It's all true.
You got to hold on to both of them. You can't think I'm just warrior, because you start forgetting the victim part of it.
Right.
I mean, it's like having PTSD. I spent my whole life thinking that I'm a warrior. That doesn't bother me. Look at my brother and sister. They're druggies and a Jehovah's Witness. But anyway, and then 43 years later, it hits me upside the head.
Yeah.
And that's the way, and if you were to just be the warrior type, you would you would forget about you.
I wouldn't have my why.
Yeah. Yeah. And the why is a very important part of everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really, really appreciate you coming on. I'm afraid that if we keep talking, you'll end up talking about stuff you probably should wait to talk about, because I like to talk about things you're not supposed to talk about. Just look at my Facebook posts.
Well, I want to announce right quick that this is going on CBS.
Okay.
So a lot of moms in this trap, and I shouldn't say moms, and dads are being interviewed, and it's going on TV, and that includes my story.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. We probably don't have a time frame.
No, not right now.
So just keep an eye out for it.
Yep.
And it's important. It's important that it gets out there. And I appreciate you coming on my little humble show. But I heard part of the story, and it floored me. I mean, it hit hard. I have a very soft spot for children that are hurt and mothers that are hurt, because I grew up around both.
Yeah.
And I know that it is not a pain that heals. People's like, well, I have a scar. They don't understand scars hurt.
It just stays with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, you never get over it. You'll always have that in the back of your mind, that fear, even when everything comes your way.
Right.
You're still going to live with that fear, and your daughter's going to live with that fear.
Yeah.
She's going to become an adult, and she's going to have that fear.
Yeah.
Even if she tries her best not to, something's going to happen.
Yeah. She struggles with it now. Am I going to lose something? It's tough.
And the biggest fear is losing that you love.
Yeah. So I'm fighting for her, and I just want to announce, if you're watching this and you're part of the corruption, I'm coming for you. And so are a lot of other parents.
Hey guys, I want to personally thank everyone for liking and sharing my videos. If you want to continue to see my content, all you got to do is press that subscribe button, and I'll notify you as soon as a new video comes out. I don't get paid for any of this. So if you want to buy some of my merch, like my shirts, like Jesus is a Badass, or my Don't Be a Dick shirt, you can easily go to my merch store, which is at sogtv.org, which I will have it in the description at every video. So push that, go buy yourself a shirt. I appreciate it. Have a blessed day, and I will see you at the next episode. Thank you.